On the other side of the bitumen road, you can see many figures walking through the forest, slowly stumbling forward, many that are looking quite unnaturally limp, some dressed in military uniforms, others not. Most, actually all of them, are drenched with icicles appearing on them. Many of them are dragging their feet. Some are stumbling over branches and through the trees. Some bump into the trees. But from what you can see, there is a lot of them.
Guys? I think we have a problem.
Why? What's wrong?
What are you talking about?
Xander just points into the forest.
And we can also see these icicle-covered people.
And past Xander, past the boom gate, and appearing around the side of the lorry, crossing the bitumen, you see a horde of sickly-looking, drenched, icicle-ridden people. And the first line of them sort of put up their arms, and some hiss. One of them screeches as if taking offense at Xander pointing out to them. You start to notice that some of them are dressed in military uniforms, some of them are dressed in common clothes, that of civilians. There's some that are dressed in medical. You have old as well as young amongst them. At first, as they start crossing the road, you start counting half a dozen, which then doubles, and then that figure doubles quite quickly.
I do not know what is wrong with them, but perhaps we had better leave?
Werner takes a couple of steps forward, looking. What is this guy?
Issa's looking confused.
They all look as though like they have no life to them, but they are animated in a way that's not natural.
He will raise his rifle. Herr Doctor, any suggestions?
I don't know. They don't look alive.
To me, neither. I first thought it might have been something like the plague, disease, or... And he's backing away. And when he decides, yeah, they can't be alive, then he's taking aim. He aims at the closest one and pulls the trigger. The silence is broken by a loud crack as his rifle goes off and he reloads.
The sound bounces back off the trees and the buildings, and the noise is so loud it partially deafens you. But the bullet flies true, hits the first one in the chest and flies straight through the chest, and it stumbles back and falls backwards, laying down on the ground. The others walk past it, ignoring it.
Issa, we need somewhere defensible.
And she's looking at him like, okay? You want me to do something?
And then it sits up.
Of course it does.
Of course it does.
Why did you shoot at them?
Does anybody have a better idea?
No, but it's better than 4 versus countless.
I suggest we put a sturdy door between us and them.
Yes, I think running in the opposite direction would be my suggestion.
They don't appear to be all that fast.
Does they tire? We are now inside this camp. It is surrounded by a fence. We need to be able to defend ourselves. Hold them off.
Yes, we have to head in. Isa's just looking for a door that we could enter and close behind us so that maybe they can't get in.
Okay, so where you are, you sort of scan the area, you spin around. Every door to every building is open. The nearest one would be the huge roller doors at building 3.
Okay, well,
The huge roller doors in the flat top building that's behind you. Sorry, I'm not going to say building 3 because the listeners are there.
Fair enough. And the roller door, how does that close? Like, does it slide down or across?
Yes.
Or down?
It looks like it slides down, and you can see that the mechanism for it is a huge chain on one side of the door.
Okay, she's gonna enter that building through the huge open doors and grab the chain and look expectantly out, hoping that other people will also enter the building so she can close the door.
And as you enter, you notice all the lights are off. It is a gymnasium. You notice a ball off to one side and various other pieces of equipment, as well as some empty bunks that are in here as well. But interestingly, there's 2 lorries that are parked inside this gymnasium. There's other parts of it's not completely a gymnasium, as there's doorways that lead off into other parts of this building as well.
Okay,
I'm going to follow her into that building.
nice.
Xander is running pretty much full speed to try and catch up to them since he was a bit behind.
And Werner will shoot again when he can and then follow the rest into the building.
You fire off another shot, and it rings out true and hits another one, and it staggers backwards as others passed. It bumps into a couple of them, and it appears that it doesn't even feel the pain of the shot.
The year is 1915, and the world is at war. Middle Europa was an empire already pulling itself to pieces, long before they made their grab for power that started it all. 8 states held tenuously together by their Kaiser, who seeks to return his nation to its former glory. The Western nations took notice. Led by the Kingdom of Lions, they opposed Middle Europa and their allies, leading to the Great War. Millions have met their deaths in the endless tide of mud and blood and bullets and toxic gas, but the war that chewed them up and spat out their bones shows no sign of slowing down. In the midst of this obvious devastation, a more subtle threat has also emerged. Slivers of creeping dread needle those with the ability to notice them. The world that is at war is changing in ways it shouldn't, ways it shouldn't be able to. Events are undone, overwritten, continuity is warping, and if nothing is done, reality itself could be at risk. As the struggle for power overlaps with the struggle to preserve reality, loyalty and duty may be called into question, pitted against serving the greater good or even just surviving. This is the world of Carbon Grey. And once everyone's through the doors, Issa's going to start trying to close them with the chain.
You can hear the sounds of rustling closing in and then banging on the door.
I don't know if there are any other doors to this building. However, if there are, they may be open.
We must hurry and close as many as we can.
Issa's gonna dart off looking for any other doors that could be closed.
So beyond the lorries on the left and right, there are two doors that are currently open. One leads into a darkened room, and the other also leads into a darkened room, but it's got a lavatory sign above it. And then immediately to the left, there is a door that leads into what looks to be like a hallway that's lined with. You can see through into the darkness that it's lined with not cabinets,
Cupboards?
lockers.
Lockers. Okay. Issa's gonna run into the hallway because that seems the most likely to contain a door to outside that she could close.
And you can see stairs that go up to that goes up and then up to the left and then up again, leading to a door. But underneath the stair well, you can see the stairwell actually goes over the top of an open doorway, which appears to be an emergency exit. Which
And
is
does it
open.
go outside?
Yeah, it goes outside, and there's steps
Okay.
that lead down out the back.
She's gonna close the emergency door then.
I'm gonna check the lockers.
Xander's going to look for something that he can put in front of this door.
Right. Well,
And all of them are locked. And they look like they haven't been disturbed for some time.
I was gonna say, Peter, we'll see if the cars are unlocked.
The lorries are.
Can you get one of them running?
You sit in the driver's side. No keys.
He will try to hotwire it.
Well, Xander was going to try and put one of the cars in neutral and put it in front of the door.
You should be able to do either one of them, really. And what's Werner doing?
He'll go through the door at the top.
Of the stairs?
Are you pointing on your... Okay.
Not flat. It leads out onto a flat concrete roof. As you step out onto the roof and you look around, off over to the left, behind you, and I do believe on the southeastern side, looks to be like a small gangway that leads down a set of stairs behind the building. And at the corner of this building, there is a ladder that leads up to, and it's more of a step ladder that leads up to a tower.
Okay.
And attached to the tower, you see piping facing towards the compound. It looks to be like makeshift piping that's been reused from the downpipes. Metal that's been bent up. It's fixed to the side of the tower and it's facing inwards towards the top of the building, which leads towards the center of the compound.
Does there look to be anything useful in the tower?
The tower is empty, other than a night searchlight.
All right, so he will go down on one knee and at the moment just guard that door.
So it's able to block the door, but in the process, it's become wedged in there in such a way that if we needed to use it to escape, we could not. it's no longer an escape option.
He will attempt to hotwire it. He starts fiddling with he starts jamming stuff in the ignition, and the engine roars to life. The headlights turn on. I think I got it, and then a giant puff of smoke, and the headlights turn off, and the engine stops. He gets out to check it, and the it's messed up. There's no using it.
And the wires underneath the dash are all burnt. The insulation's melted. And you're lucky that it didn't catch fire. Isa, you managed to close the door.
Okay, and she's looking for anything, like, how does it close? Is there anything she could put in front of it to sort of keep it closed, or? So she's looking for something she can put in front of it.
Oh, there's varied items. There's boxes of equipment. There's gym equipment.
Okay,
There's
she's trying to
weight,
push some boxes in front of it.
and you do that. Werner, you can hear the sounds of more coming across the road, and the sounds of banging on the roller door, and the sounds of moaning and screeching and wailing. But it all seems to hinge around the front left corner of this building.
He will go along the edge and just here, trying not to be obvious, in over the side and into the parade area and the building behind them, which for the
Yep.
GM is building 2.
Okay, so you see that there is a large gathering below you, more at the roller door than anywhere. There's a few that are left trailing through the entranceway past the 3 lorries that are now parked outside. There's a couple that are trapped on the boom gate, and a few more that are trapped on the wire fence outside and seem to be walking around the outside of the compound. They may have perhaps lost interest.
Okay, he will move back to the door.
Isa's blocked off the door and is just waiting to see what's going on.
Xander will go up to the second floor to
Everyone give me
see if Werner
a
needs
roll.
help.
Yep,
What
and you
sort?
start walking up the stairs. Dunk, 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 dunk.
All right, he slams the door and runs down the stairs as fast as he can, enters the other area and points to the doctor and Isa.
Uh-huh.
Put your masks on now.
What about you?
Unless we have found any in the lockers.
He tosses his mask to you. He will take out his what is it right now? A hatchet, and start cleaving at the locks of the lockers.
Isa's looking a little bit stunned, but will take the canister off of her shoulder and start trying to open it.
I am suspecting Herr Bauer is still here, and he is now trying to kill us. With whatever it was, killed them, and he points to the banging door.
Then you said we should go up.
I did. However, Herr Bauer has placed some of his pipes on top of this building because that man is a bastard.
I feel like being I feel like I'm the one being personally attacked here.
Does Isa have her mask on?
Isa is
Or Isa,
trying to work out how to put it on.
And you may spend a hero point to find a mask in the locker.
I will do that. So he's cleaving at that locker. He finally gets it open, and there's one gas mask.
Which is what I was just laughing at.
Xander's like,
Adam had
can
to
go
say
to
you
bed.
could find one gas mask, not multiple. Adam had to make sure to clarify that.
You spend one
The
hero
running
point to
gag
find
of the night.
one
Xander
gas
said you can go to bed.
oh dear.
Xander, what are you doing?
Xander's going to run back to the lorries there and look for a gas mask in either of the cars.
And neither of them have gas masks.
Well, Peter will start hacking at the next locker.
Peter's gotten to the last one and found
The single gas mask.
the single gas mask.
How big are the pipes on the roof? I was up there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You briefly went up there. Or you were heading up there. So as you were heading up, Werner has slammed the door and run down. You could probably put your fist through the pipe. That's about the size of it.
Okay, so for example, if I had 6 black candles, could I
Oh
use
my
wax to
goodness.
try and seal the opening on the roof?
Could I try to fix up a homemade mask? Obviously, it won't be as
Yep.
effective as a gas mask, but could I try to do one?
Yep.
Interesting.
Not bad. I'll take it. 22 and a 5 in the wild. So I have a +2.
Pretty good roll.
Difficult 20. Oh, so you made it.
22, yeah.
So he's digging through his bag, taking pieces of cloth, fabric, layering them. He's like cutting at them with his hatchet, tearing bits with his teeth. Yeah, he has his goggles.
Oh, you might have found some actually pilot's goggles in one of the, because they're sealed.
But he fixes it up with what he can. He's confident it will keep him alive for enough to get out, and he will go find Xander.
As you open the door to the roof after Werner has rushed down yelling about gas, a green mist forms at your feet and appears to be coming from a pipe that's linked to the tower, and the mist is starting to settle down through the stairs below.
Peter takes the gas mask he found it on. Get this out now!
Xander abandons his quest to burn the candles and puts on the makeshift mask. It goes back through the door and closes it. Instead, he'll try and use the candles to melt a seal on the door to try and stop it from going through the cracks.
Make a strength stamina roll, Xander.
Ooh.
That's all. Your gas mask seems to be working. You open the door. And Peter's running up the stairs, and green mist starts to accumulate around your feet,
No!
and this burning sensation starts to enter your nostrils, even though you're almost involuntarily breathing because of the burning sensation that's caused on your skin. You take a little gasp, and then as you close the door, the gas starts to literally melt the shoes off your feet, and you fall backwards, taking a deep breath, and you are mortally wounded.
Oh dear.
Peter will rush over to see what the hell just happened.
Xander collapses down the stairs. Any exposed area is now red and looks massively irritated. And even the clothing has started to rapidly deteriorate around his feet.
Issa, who was at the bottom of the stairs after closing the door, is rather surprised by this.
He didn't seal his mask properly.
What do we do? What do we do with him?
Peter will attempt to start first aid.
Issa thinks he probably got himself into this mess. And she's right.
May I do a medical roll?
Yes, you may do a medical roll to stabilize him.
18 plus 2, so 20.
Oh, just. Okay,
Just.
so Xander is stabilized.
Oh my goodness.
Xander dies so much he lives.
Okay, so he's stabilized, but he's suffered significant burns to his feet. He might regain consciousness at some point. You're not sure when, but he's definitely passed out from the effects of the poison and possibly the pain. You've administered morphine.
Issa is looking rather horrified by these developments.
He is stabilized for now, but won't be able to walk for some time. And I have no idea when he will wake up.
And you think, in part, that could be from the shoes that he was wearing weren't military issue shoes, so less resilient to the acidic nature of the gas.
They're just going like, you non-military people don't have any good stuff. No gas masks, no good shoes.
The gas is also very acidic.
Well, if we can't stay here and he can't walk, then...
Werner will come back in. I have been doing as much scouting as I felt I could. I feel our enemy is still in the complex. Wherever he is, I imagine it will be safe. However, the building in question and the way to get to it, it is a complicated rear end.
Well, do we just leave Xander here? He cannot walk, and if it is complicated, I don't imagine it would be easy to carry him.
If those things, whatever they are, and at this point you will know more about it than us, as he motions to the doctor. This again is very much in your area of expertise, or at least it should be. However, if they get in here, I do not like Xander, but what I feel they will do to him, he does not deserve.
I have never seen the dead walking. I do not know.
We can try to get the other truck working.
Well, we have multiple problems now here, Doctor. That gas turned on after our arrival, yeah? He's aware of our presence. If this individual releases this gas anywhere. Are we sure that the gas is not responsible for them?
We can put Xander in the truck, close the door, and we can try to deal with this doctor, quote unquote.
Did you say quote unquote?
Yes, quote unquote.
And he turns and looks at Issa. Well, our mission was to destroy this individual. I think we have more reason now than we did even before. That was reason enough. But I am concerned with leaving Xander here. But I'm also concerned with... We cannot carry him
As
through the complex.
you hear and see from the doorway past Issa, Werner notices a man dressed in military uniform step out through the doorway holding an MP5 submachine gun,
Oh, good.
looking at all three of you on the stairwell with the submachine gun aimed at you. He looks shaken, disheveled. His hair is a mess. He's covered in blood, and his lips are all sewn together.
And he doesn't have a mask?
He does not have a mask.
Issa is staring back at him, not sure what to do with this new development.
You're alive!
At least most of us. And she glares at unconscious Xander.
Werner, Reiter, Cavalry 3914. Who are you?
Good question.
I don't know.
He's not unaware of the injury the individual has. It's just he doesn't think that's right now the most important question. What happened to you?
Hans Liedermann, 2173. Here to stop Bowman.
That is what we are here for as well. What the hell has happened to you? Through the round, get the gas canister.
Yeah. Helpfully gesturing at lips.
And he looks at all three of you and Xander laying unconscious in a sort of awkward position on the stairs. And he lowers his MP5 a little bit, but still a little bit appears to be apprehensive. We came here to stop Bowman, but he hurt us.
Could,
Then conducted experiments.
it would be easier to understand you if we could cut that thread. Is that fine?
He nods.
And she looks at the doctor, assuming he'll have scissors or something.
The doctor has a scalpel.
And Werner will position himself so the doctor will not be in direct line, but he's not gonna do anything. But he just wants to try to cover the doctor in case.
I have a scalpel. Be very, very still.
And he holds the MP5 level with you. And as you walk closer, he holds it up against you. And assuming that you slice through the stitches, it was very crude, whatever was done to him. It wasn't even surgical. It was needle and thread, looks like, that has been used to sew up his lips. His eyes are glazed over. He still looks like he's under the effects of some sort of drug. He is covered in blood, which is mostly dried, but it doesn't look to be his own blood. And he reaches up and fills his lips and sort of wipes his face. And he looks from Werner's point of view, almost like a green recruit, someone who isn't very disciplined. There's only 4 of us left. We've been held up in the latrines. We came here last night seeking to take down the woman.
Where is your gas mask?
And he looks at you. Oh, right. What do you mean?
If you don't want to end up like him, and she nods towards Xander, you might want to put one on.
So he's released the gas?
So it seems.
I saw it emanating from the pipes above.
Xander here can be dramatic, but I do not think he is faking the fuse melted to his speech.
And he takes a moment and then lowers the MP5 and come, we must get the others. And races back into the gym area. We heard commotion, but we did not believe it could be anyone. Or saviors, to be exact, but this is a funny way of saving somebody by trapping yourselves inside here.
We came expecting to find an unethical scientist and some guards. We did not come to expect the dead who walk.
He leads you to the latrine area where it looks like they've barricaded themselves up in one of the latrines. And they're starting to get their gas masks.
Why didn't you close the outside doors?
What?
The doors leading outside were all open.
And he slides his gas mask on. That was not to do with us. We came here with 30. We were set upon ourselves, but some of us were taken alive and then released. But he conducted horrible experiments for hours. The 4 of us managed to get away, but afraid to leave the area. And once you get further inside, especially the latrine area, we did not want to leave because of these. And you see pipes along the back end of the latrine area that have been crudely makeshifted in place that lead through one end of the walls to the other end that leads outside. And it looks like these have been crudely made of bits of piping, including drain pipes and pipes that have been removed from the basins.
And just checking, did we just leave Xander like back there,
In the
or
car, I
have
think.
we dragged him
He's
along somehow?
fine.
Or did you drag him down the stairs?
Well, he's already at the
I
bottom
was
of the
gonna put him in the
stairs. You
car.
said he fell.
I put him in the car.
You were talking about it, but that's when someone
Well,
came
I was
pointing
gonna
a
do
gun at us.
All right, well then I did it after that. I wanted to do that.
Okay. So he's in the back of the, I'm assuming the left lorry.
The one that works.
Okay. But this is not the rest of it. And he leads you into the other room, which looks like an office, and it's got bookshelves and a desk, and the shelves are filled with books, a lot of them toppled over and out, and some certificates up on the walls. But in the middle of this room is a giant hole that's been dug into the earth. Well, through the bottom of the building and down into the earth. And there's pipes that lead all the way down into the earth. And from the depths of this hole you see the subtle glow of a pink reddish glow, and the sounds of a chunk 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 chunk.
The Carbon Grey role-playing game is published by Magnetic Press, starring SPG as Peter, Shadow as Xander, Ghost as Werner, Emily as Isa, and Raveninsane as the storyteller. Sounds and music are from Sirenscape and Epidemic Sound. Thanks very much for listening.